Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Saturday, December 3rd slate of NBA action, man. I'm super excited to dive into it. We do have like a 7-game slate on, I believe. It's a pretty good one. I'm excited. We do have a couple of good matchups here, and of course, we do have our consensus play. I had to decide between a couple of really good games tonight. I actually took a spread pick so far as an official play as well. So I really do like the slate that we do have. But before we go ahead and dive into it, I just wanted to go ahead and give a big thanks to you guys because we actually ended up hitting 9,000 subscribers yesterday. And I just can't believe it, man. It's actually crazy that we are 90% to 10,000. That's insane. So we will, of course, be doing a giveaway as of tomorrow. So make sure that if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. And thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me. So much more than you guys will ever know. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. And as much as I would love to forget about yesterday, it was a really tough day. I mean, you guys can see it in the overlay. I've been on a little bit of a cold stretch here. Hopefully we can turn that around today. I only have 2 plays because we don't have a whole lot of lines up at the time of recording this video. But I still did find a couple plays that I do like. So without any further ado, let's do a quick recap. So we had our kill shot play of the day. We had Royce O'Neal under 20.5 PRAs. Even though this game was a blowout for most of the game, Royce O'Neal was really doing a little bit of everything. He had a couple baskets there, nothing too crazy. It's not like he went off in points or anything. But he also had a decent number of rebounds. He also had a pretty good number of assists. It was just a kind of a recipe for an over, unfortunately. He finishes right with 23. So I feel like it wasn't an awful call. I mean, he did barely hit the over, and it was a blowout, so I don't even know. I can't wrap my head around why he was playing so much. The Raptors started to come back a little bit, but I don't think it was enough to panic. But obviously, I'm not an NBA coach, so, it is what it is. Then we had Ja Morant, under 6.5 rebounds versus the 76ers. Honestly, another tough beat. Ja Morant ends up getting 2 rebounds in the last minute and 12 seconds of the game. Ends up hitting the over. Nothing you can really do about that one. Then we did have Keldon Johnson over 22.5 points here versus the Pelicans at minus 115. Keldon Johnson shot 7 for 23 from the field. What are you doing? 7 for 23. I really, that is really, really bad. Obviously, everybody does have off days. There's nothing, it is what it is. But Keldon Johnson is in a crazy slump right now. So hopefully he gets things figured out. He had a good matchup. Herb Jones wasn't even in the game. He sat out of this one. He had Trey Murphy on him, who's given up a lot of points here recently. He saw the shot attempts, 23 shot attempts, and only got 7 to go down. He had 11 points in the first half. He was on pace, and in the second half, he just threw all that out the window. He said, "Here, Devin Vassell, come get the ball and, do your thing." So, it is what it is. And then we did have Lauri Markkanen over 8.5 rebounds here versus the Pacers at plus 105, and I just got to do it. I got to do it. Lauri Markkanen, welcome to the King's Throne. Welcome to the King's Throne. Because, man, he's definitely in there now. He's in our Hall of Fame. He has been absolutely fantastic. He ends up with like 13 rebounds, I think it was. He went ballistic. I love Lauri Markkanen this year. He's really aggressive on both ends of the floor. And we've hit his over. Like every time we've pretty much bet on one of his props, he's hit his over. So I love the spot that we have here with Lauri Markkanen. He's definitely our first King's Throne. Obviously have a Bulls jersey of him. Huge diehard Bulls fan. But shout out Lauri, man. Having a great year. I love Lauri Markkanen. I'm glad to see that he is playing so well. So without any further ado, though, let's go ahead and dive into the 2 plays that we do have and our consensus play of the day. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So our first play of the day, our King's kill shot play of the day, we're taking Julius Randle over 32.5 PRAs here versus the Mavericks at minus 110 odds. Now, if you want any individual line, I don't care. I really like all of his individual lines because Julius Randle has actually been really good here recently. But if you take a look at it, Julius Randle versus the Mavericks really does some damage. If you look at his last 4 matchups here versus the Mavericks, he has hit the over in all of them with PRA logs of 39, 37, 61, yeah, 61, and 33 PRAs in his last 4 matchups here versus the Mavericks. He's been really, really solid, and he is coming off of a really tough shooting night here in Milwaukee. But even with how bad he played, like scoring the basketball, he still managed 31 PRAs, missing this just by 1, or by 2 technically, by 2 PRAs. And I just think that speaks a lot of volume. Julius Randle's really been doing a lot with the basketball here recently, and he's been doing it on both ends. So I think that this line's just a little bit too low, to be honest. So I'm going to be taking it here while it's low. And in the last 7 games, Dallas really has struggled on defense. I know that Dallas, most of the time, is a really good defense. They've struggled recently. In the last 7 games, Dallas allows the 8th most points per game and the 8th most rebounds per game to opposing power forwards. And we all know Julius Randle, he can dish the rock. If you look at some of his assist lines, he's been really good to his over and his assist here recently. Even his assist line is pretty high, which says a lot too. But also in the last 3 games, the Mavericks, they have allowed the 3rd most points per game to opposing teams. Like I said, this Dallas defense has always been known to be good. They've always been known to really slow down teams. The 3rd most points per game to opposing teams in the last 3 games is unheard of from the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks have always been a really solid defense, and the fact that they're playing at this fast of a pace and at this and not necessarily the greatest on defense right now, sign me up for an over. Also, like I said, in the last 3 games, Dallas is 10th in pace. Normally, they are 29th in pace. So they've been playing a lot faster. They've really been switching up how they play basketball here recently. And Julius Randle has been pretty good to this line over the course of the year. 11 of 22 on the year, so he's exactly 50%. It's always a coin flip, but I think it's a good matchup. And Dallas in the last 3, as I mentioned, not a great defense. 6th worst defensive efficiency in all of basketball. In the last 3 games, so sign me up. We're going to be riding with it for our kill shot play of the day. Julius Randle over 32.5 PRAs here versus the Mavericks at minus 110 odds. Now for our second play of the day, we're taking a spread pick. We haven't picked one here in a while, so why not do it now? We're taking the Jazz minus 3.5 here versus the Blazers at minus 110 odds. Now I like this for a couple different reasons. The Jazz, they are going to be on the second leg of a back-to-back, which is normally a spot that I would want to stay away from, but I think it's a pretty good spot because on second leg of a back-to-back, the Jazz are 4-2 against the spread on the season, so they have been pretty good in that second leg of a back-to-back spot. Also, the Jazz, they are 6-4 against the spread at home this year. They've been a pretty good home team, covering 60% of the time. Now, I will say Portland, they've been great on the road. They have the best against the spread record on the road this year, but I like this for a couple other reasons, which is why it makes me kind of want to fade them, because in their last 9 games, Portland is 2-7 against the spread. They have not been very good here in their last 9 games, and they are 1-5 straight up in the last 6 games without Damian Lillard. Not having Damian Lillard on this Portland team, it has really thrown this team off, and they have not been able to beat pretty good teams. And the Jazz, I know they're not tremendous, but they're showing that they're a very competent basketball team. And with that being said, the Blazers have struggled without Dame beating some of those good teams. So I do like this spot here. Also, the Jazz are 5-0 in their last 5 here versus the Blazers, and 8-1 in their last 9. They have been fantastic here versus the Blazers, and I think that trend does continue once again, because the Blazers, they do have a lot of people injured currently too. Josh Hart is listed as doubtful for tomorrow, I'm recording this the night before. They're injured for today. Drew Eubanks is listed as questionable for today. Gary Payton's out, Nasir Little's out, Dame's out, and Keon Johnson's out. A bunch of guys are going to be out here for this Portland team, and so it's going to be Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, and it's going to take a lot from those two. And I just think that this is a really good spot here to take a Jazz team that's still really young, that still has a lot of decent pieces here. I just think they really can get it done here. So that's going to be our second play of the day. Jazz minus 3.5 here versus the Blazers at minus 110 odds. Now, we do have our consensus play of the day. We are going to be in the 3:30 Central Standard Time time slot. We are going to be doing the Kings, who are traveling to the Clippers, and they're taking on the Clippers. The Clippers are 1.5 point favorites currently. So we are going to be going from left to right. We have Brady. Brady is going to be taking the Kings today. Mitch, he is going to be taking the Clippers. Ryan is going to be taking the Kings. Seth is going to be taking the Kings, and come on now, I'm also taking the Kings. So we're going to be riding with it for Kings plus 1.5 here. I just think it's a pretty good spot. I know that the Clippers are listed to have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard back, but I just think like this line is way too close. If those two are actually going to play, something just seems a little bit off. And the Kings have been my favorite team, or one of my favorite teams all year long. They've been so good, and I just can't really bet against them. So I think so that's what we're going to be riding with for our consensus play of the day. Kings plus 1.5 here versus the Clippers, minus 110 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers now, man. We are literally less than 1,000. That's absolutely crazy. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is King Center signing out. Peace.